Voila. Good morning. Happy birthday, Sally.
Thank you. Same to you.
I'm happy to do my birthday yoga class today.
Those are birthday flowers, I'm guessing.
Yes, I just thought I should put them over there. Yeah.
Well, happy birthday.
And you have a lovely day up on Mercer Island. It's like 60, I see.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think we're just like 20 degrees higher.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, well, yeah. So hi, Val. I'm not sure what the temperature is where you are. Probably somewhere in between, maybe in the 60s as well. Susie's probably back on Mercer Island. I think she said she was going.
I am, but I have COVID, but I'm still going to do the.
Oh, you got COVID?
I know. I came back and got COVID, but I probably got it on the airplane or something.
Yeah, that's where I think I got it in October on the, well,
Yeah.
no, I think I got it in France somewhere else, but who knows? Are you feeling okay?
I'm feeling better today. This is day 3, I guess. So I'm going to do yoga. Anyway, happy birthday. Just thought I'd say that.
Okay, thank you. You do what you can and remember, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate.
Yep, I will. Thanks.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, so we have a few more people who have popped in to join us. Bev is here, Laura is here. I don't know where Laura's up to. All right, so. There we go. All right, so I thought I would have us do some new stuff. It's actually from Feldenkrais, if you've ever done that. So you see I have a couple of towels. These are just bath towels, so I'll give you a little time to go get. Here's what one looks like when it's rolled up, and we're gonna lay down and put it under our head like this. But if you need two, if you have two, since you know you're going in the bathroom probably or your linen closet, if you have two, you can put them under your knees when we get to Shavasana. So I'll leave those over here. And thank you all for coming to do our practice today. Remember, we're not trying to be perfect. We just kind of do what we can on the day that we're doing it. We will do some standing balance stuff. So if you want to bring a chair, or eventually I'll tell you when we're doing it and you get to a wall, we'll be doing the dancer pose. Then we'll bring the knee around in front and we'll be doing this. Yeah, that'll be fun. And we're going to actually start on all fours today. Then we'll go standing up and then we'll come down and do some stuff on the floor. As always, if there's anything that doesn't seem, I gotta switch this, I forgot. There we go. If there's anything that doesn't suit you in terms of issues, then modify or just don't do. And I'm pretty good at doing modifications. So what did I say? We're starting on all fours. So if you need a little extra knee padding, let's get on down to the mat. Try not to use your hands. So I'm going to come down onto all fours, relaxing my feet, palms or knuckles, anchor the shoulders, bandhas, and then focus toward the front edge of the mat. And all we need to do is breathe. So in your all fours position, take in how gravity is pressing down, how important it is to activate the bandhas, how much easier Mula Bandha might be to engage, that the shoulders may feel put upon, so constantly anchoring them, and maybe feeling like you have a pillow between the legs to help support the core. Palms or knuckles, you choose. A couple more breaths. Moving your hips back as far as is comfortable for your knees. Bringing your chest forward. Using your breath out as you back up. Drawing your breath in as you move forward. So we're just kind of seeing how we're feeling. We'll end up in the middle on all fours. And we're going to swing the tailbone like a slow, happy puppy. Swinging the tailbone from side to side. Gently moving the hips side to side. Again, Bandha's breath and all the foundations that we've already set. Leave your hips to one side. Look over the shoulder of that side as if you're looking back at your hips. Returning center and on to the other side. So you swing the hip out. You look over that shoulder. And return back center. Then a little bit of cats and cows. So dropping the tailbone, bowing the head, being ever so small, lifting the tailbone, extending the heart. Don't think about the head. Tightening through the belly. Be very gentle. I know there's an urge to just go to the way you normally would do your cats and cows, but kind of sneak up on it. Eventually feel that it can be a little bit bigger and a little bit more. And then we'll move our hips in a circular hula. How's your back feeling today? And going the other way. And then I'm going to turn my little bendy toes under and move back. This can be either very easy for you or a little, so if it's a little difficult, as you need to, you come back and get out of it. If you can sit pretty easily with your toes bent under, feel free to stay here. There is a little bit more, should you wish. That would be this. It doesn't matter, you be you, I'll be me. We'll just think of it that way. And then we're going to transition into our child's pose. So some variations you can do with your toes relaxed. The arms can be extended, they can be under your head, they can be back towards your feet, or they can be in prayer to kind of open a little more in the shoulder. So whichever one is intuitive to you. So you pick the position for child's pose. And in child's pose, I want you to just now connect to the moment. Take a few breaths to acknowledge your presence, your attention, and your focus, the awareness of your surroundings, your breath, everything that's happening in this moment. And know that child's pose can be done anytime during our practice. So if you ever feel like anything is not what you ought to be doing, you come back to child's pose, recenter yourself. 2 more breaths. Now we're going to move up gently into a seated position. Feel free to sit on a pillow, a towel, a blanket. I'm in Sukhasana. I know that's not always a good fit for everyone, so use whatever seated position you can do. Lift and lengthen the spine, drop the shoulders, and let's get a little action going through the shoulders. So with my hands here, I move the elbows. So bringing a little energy to the upper body, and soon we'll stand and get the lower body. Change the direction. And then as I open the arms, I'm going to create some figure eights. Could you just keep this going? I feel like I need to close the door here for sound purposes. So you just keep this going. I'll be right back.
I got it.
Oh, thank you. Ken's back so he can help.
Good.
All right, so we have this going. And it can get larger. Again, as your shoulders and your back allows. And then you're gonna end up with the hands behind you, and we're all gonna sit on our bum with our knees up and our feet down on the floor. A little more challenging to keep the feet together, so you can let them slide past as you drop the knees to one side and the other. Sometimes this doesn't feel like very much, but then sometimes it does. So let's see how it feels right now. Breath in, breath out. Stay leaning on your hands and open the legs into Bandha Konasana, cobbler's pose. Leaning back on your hands is going to give you a little more freedom to let your legs fall out. Lift up your chest. Let your face look more outward. It doesn't have to be upward because it doesn't have any support. And then just turn it from one side and the other. So if you saw me from the side, I'm leaning back, lifting up, and turning my head. Then I'll bring the knees together, and let's just see if you can. Don't worry if you can't, go up another way. Can you cross your legs and stand up? It's just a big question. If you can, do, but if you can't, figure another way to get up. It's just one of those things about figuring out your relationship. Okay, I'm on my standing. You can be at the end of the short end of the mat. I'm facing you this way. And my feet in traditional Tadasana, parallel. I'm going to bring a little energy to the feet, but remembering that my bandhas, that my shoulders. So it's kind of interesting about shoulders. Sometimes they fall forward and they get stuck there. Then they start growing there. So I'm not saying pull the shoulders back, that's kind of artificial. We do that for range of motion, but just kind of have them in the proper place. And the fingers vibrantly to the earth. Now here's what I'm doing with the feet. I've already prepared my bendy toes. So what you see is my heel is lifting and lowering. So I'm raising a heel and lowering a heel, going across the pads of each one of my toes. So let's do a little arm pattern. It'll be opposite arm raising in front of the chest from the leg that's lifting. So now we're in a balance, so keep one heel up, one arm forward, doesn't matter which one. Engage your core, keep the front knee, the lifted heel, knee bent, and now lift both heels, both arms. Awkward pose. So if your knees are a little cranky, stay on the high side. If you can go a little lower, go a little lower. Drop your heels, drop your arms, push the pelvis forward. Let the arms come from behind. Be aware of your space, walls and furniture. Join the palms together. Cultivate your attitude of gratitude. And while our hands are at our heart, attention to the feet. Roll to the outer edge toward the pinky toes so the arches lift. Then roll toward the arches so your knees come together and the outer edges of your feet lift. So, rolling out, rolling in. Eversion, inversion. So yes, it's mostly at the ankles, but you're going to feel the rest of the leg above, kind of letting you know how important our feet are to the rest of our body. I don't think we think about that often enough. How we stand on our feet translates up the body. So. Okay, now we're going to do the toes and the heels. So as I stand, balance between the outer and inner edges, lifting the toes up and rocking forward and lifting the heels up. Rocking back, I lift the toes. Let's ascertain the difference here. Now see if you can find the position on all parts of your foot, the toes, the heels, the outer, the inner edges. Let the arms lift above head without letting your pelvis thrust forward, as might be the case for some. Keep the elbows bent and put the hands behind the head. Then I'll take my hands and just place them at my head. Elbows are relaxed. You see, if I try and pull the elbows back, it elevates my shoulders. We're not doing that. So just leave your arms forward, relax the shoulders, bandhas, always bandhas. And now push your head into your hands. Breathing, and just feel how you've activated the core all the way up the posterior chain. So you're pushing into the back of into the hands, the back of the head, and breathing. Pause, relax the arms for a moment. Kind of feel how your head might have shifted into a more natural position. Let's do it again by lifting the arms, join the palms. Bring the hands behind. Once again, stack them on. Relax the shoulders. This time, let the head stay still and where it should be, and push the hands onto the head. So it doesn't look like I'm doing anything. Nothing changes when I do this. But when I'm pushing, I'm activating all the way down my torso. Isn't that amazing? And breathe. And then we'll stop pushing with the hands. Relax the arms down. Nice. So I'm going to take the right leg as I look at you back. And then it's going to cross over behind and dropping the heel. So my toe is slightly veered out, which sometimes makes my hips turn. Keep your hips facing toward the front leg, which the knee is slightly bent. So right away I'm feeling a little bit of calf stretch. My hips are forward. We've done this before. It will challenge a little bit of balance. So with your left leg in front, your right arm, or whichever leg is behind you, comes up and reaches up. Now, as you wish, you're going to slide down the left leg with your left hand, kind of pushing in to the leg. Or if you prefer to hold on to your hip, if that feels more supportive. Or if you feel that your core is strong enough not to need the support, you can reach down. Now, for those who can challenge the balance, look up. Back leg is straight, front knee is bent, and don't worry if you step out of it. Sometimes that happens. Just don't tip over. Return both arms and step back to Tadasana. Body says, ooh. So now your left leg, step back on the ball of the foot, cross it over without turning the body, drop the back heel so the back leg is straight, and get a nice little calf stretch. Go ahead, grab hold of your hips and make sure they're not facing the direction that's easy. There should be a little rotation here for our hips. Then whichever leg is behind, so likely your left, the arm will go up. And then you can keep the hand on the hip as you travel over, down your leg, or if you don't need that support. And then for those who would like a little bit more, you look upward. Stay with your breath. Stiffen the high arm and slowly release out and return to Tadasana. Nice. Feels kind of good. Yeah. So let's go ahead to the standing balance that I mentioned. Here's where you might want to just hold on to a wall, or if you had a chair nearby that you could just step over. So this one will require you getting your hand into your foot. For those of you who say, oh, you mean grabbing my ankle like this? That's hard for me to do. If you have a towel or a yoga strap, so here's my little tea towel. I slip it over the ankle. I hold behind. All I really want are my knees to be side by side and my foot to be to my bum. So check that your knee isn't in front. It may need to get here initially, just so you can get it. And then you pull the heel up towards your bum. Pulling that top shoulder back in an artificial way. Now, if you need the wall or the chair, hold on. But if you don't, be the dancer pose. Feel grounded in the earth as you hold on to that invisible rope to the sky. Hold the heel towards your bum. Continue to breathe. If you step out, just come back and get back into the pose. Bandha's breath. So if you have a towel or a strap, carefully drop it down. Let's bring that knee that's up in front of you and lift up nice and tall. Now you see my arms are straight. This actually is helpful. Whichever knee is up, the opposite arm will stay. The same leg arm will release. And then you'll slowly begin your rotation. Breathe. Relax your shoulders. Slowly return the arms back center. Let go. Set the foot down and relax. A lot of work on your standing hip, don't you think? So if you got a towel or a strap, go pick it up. We'll do the other side. I'll stand this way to show you. So whatever support you need, use the support, but let's try and get the alignment of the leg. So you now bring the other knee up, draw the heel toward the bum. So we're trying to match the knees so that this knee is not in front and it's not behind, it's just right to the side. You can keep your hand on the wall or the chair, but if not, extend it and be that dancer pose. And breathe. If you have a towel or a strap, you're going to let it go so you can bring the knee up in front and kind of get solid with this. Shoulders are down, knee pushing into the arms in front. Do the best you can. Whichever leg is in front, that arm releases, and you make that slow journey round toward behind you. Keep breathing. There's my demonstration of falling out of it. Go ahead and bring the arm back. Let go. Step down. Oh, it's a lot for my left hip. So as you come back, move your straps or towels away, and then we'll move the hips around. Other way. Oh. Okay, so we'll go through a little bit of flow. We'll be at the short end of the mat. We'll do down dogs. We'll do some chaturangas. That's where we do the push-up. Reminder, the elbows are in, the shoulders are down when you go downward, and you don't push. You either lift modified or a little push, or if you do the up dog. So you know how this goes. All right, stand like a mountain. Hold on, my mat's slipping off here. So Tadasana, and the arms will rise. Bend the knees and touch the earth. Lift the chest, pick a leg, any leg, and step it back, followed by the second foot. So we've come to a plank pause here, chin up. From knees or from toes, lower your torso, don't let the hips go ahead, on down to the mat. A soft landing, relax your feet. Baby cobra, cobra, up dog for those who will. That's a lot for a back, so I usually don't do that one myself. And then down. Toes under. From your knees, lift the hips. From your toes, lift your hips. You decide. Anchor those shoulders. Do the best you can to press up off the mat. Into our first downward dog. Look back to your feet. Take 2 small steps forward. Let's bend the knees and focus on the shoulders, the hands, the arms, and the tailbone going skyward. And you know, if you do bend those knees and do the hips up, it really gives grace to your back. Maybe walking your dog so you bend one knee and drop one heel. Nothing forced. Standing on one foot, it won't matter which one. Stretch the other foot up and back. And bring it back down. Stand on that foot, lift the other foot up. Stretch it up and back. And then bring it down. Raising both heels up, we breathe in. Bend the knees, we sit back and look forward. We walk, step, or jump our feet to where the hands are at the front of the mat. Dropping the hips and lifting the chest and laying the body upon the thighs, we bind behind the legs and fold. Bending the knees and releasing the arms, rising up, watch your blood pressure, joining the palms, and returning the hands into the heart. Okay, into some lunges. Inhale, the arms lift, bending the knees and touching the earth. Lifting your chest, take your left foot back behind you, so the right foot's in front and the left foot's wiggling, wiggling, wiggling. Drop the shoulders, lift the heart, feel the front of your leg behind you open. Lean into the hand of the leg behind you, so left leg behind puts the left hand or knuckle down. Anchor that shoulder, release the right arm above the right leg, and now bring top shoulder back and bottom shoulder forward. Rotating. Squeeze the back leg straight. Release the high hand down. Drop your back heel to establish warrior. Right hand on your right thigh. Engage your core as you release your left arm forward. Use that right hand in a supportive way to rise to Virabhadrasana 2. Voila. Anchor through the shoulders, ground through the feet. So let's challenge a little bit more. Raise your right heel up. Lower the heel, straighten the front leg, face the long end of your mat. Feet should be very wide, and place hands on the small of the back. Roll the shoulders back. Lift the heart, a little back bend or a lot as you decide. Exhale, Uttanasana, so my hands slide, maybe pausing above the knees. Maybe going a little over the knees to the shins. Maybe reaching toward my ankles. Maybe putting my hands on the floor under my shoulders. I'm leaning into my toes so I feel the backs of my legs. There's that giant pillow between the legs. As you begin to come up, return the hands to your small of your back. Squeeze that pillow to give support. Slowly rise up. Do one more little back bend. That's an option. and then I'll bend the knee. Now you're gonna push off to the front of your mat. I'm just gonna go to the other end, just for viewing purpose. So I push off, and you stand at the front of your mat, facing the short end. The inhale is to lift the arms. The exhale is to bend the knees. Now the right leg steps back, nice and long, leaving your left knee in front. Press with the back heel. Draw the shoulders down, lift the heart. This is where some people like to have blocks. So right hand, or whichever leg is behind, the palm comes down, or you can use knuckles. Anchor that shoulder, release the front leg's arm upward, top shoulder back, bottom shoulder forward, that's nice. Back leg is straight, looking upward, and breathe. Bringing the high hand down, drop your back heel to establish your warrior legs. Place the left hand on the left thigh. Tighten up your core and reach your right arm forward. Keeping the front knee bent, lift the right arm. It goes behind toward the right leg. The left arm lifts over the left leg. Virabhadrasana 2. A little more challenge. Raise the heel up. Lower your heels, straighten both legs, turn to the long end of the mat. One more Uttanasana with hands behind. Lift up the heart and breathe in. Exhale, slide the hands down the legs. Fold out and over. Down, wherever down might take you the second time around. Lean a little more in your toes. Release the hands to the small of the back. Squeeze the legs as you lift your chest up with support. Wait here, or if you'd like, another little back bend. Returning to center, we're all going to go back to the short end of the mat. So I'm going to go back to my first side. Push off and stand like a mountain. Breath in, the arms lift, the hands come together and to your heart. Bend both knees and lean forward. We're going to crescent pose. Your left foot goes back, lean forward, go long, go deep, front knee bent, back leg straight. Lift your heart so the body becomes perpendicular to ground, feeling even more pull. Squeeze that back leg straight as it tends to stay on the soft side. Squeeze it straight. If you have something that you need to help hold you up with, like a wall or a chair, you can use that. Release your arms in front, and now raise the heel of the front foot. What? Yes. The heel comes up. Lower the heel, lower the hands, step to a plank. Chaturanga, so from knees or toes, elbows in, go down. Baby cobra, cobra, up dog, go up. Breathing out, go down. Toes under, hips up, knees or toes. Press off the mat. Downward dog. Adjust your feet. Still the self. Try not to pedal or bite. Just still the mind and still the body. Raise the heels, bend the knees, sit back, walk, step, or jump forward. Drop the hips, lift the chest, bring the hands to the heart. Now the right foot steps back. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. The leaning forward is key. Then use your hands and lift your heart. So now you feel good pull in the leg behind you. Squeeze it straight. Ground into your front foot. Feel free to use something for help. Reach your arms forward. Can you lift the front heel up? Still breathing. Foot comes down, hands come down into a plank. Now if you'd like to forego this and just go to a child's pose, feel free. Baby cobra, cobra up dog. Coming down. Child's pose or lift the hips to downward dog. Always adjust your feet properly. If you're in child's pose, we're going to come forward, so raise the heels, bend the knees, look forward, walk, step forward, jump up to the front of the mat. Roll up smart. So I squeeze the pillow, release my hands, drop my head, slowly roll myself up little by little until I put my head on straight. Very nice. Okay, we're gonna go down on the mat, so bring your towels if you have them. My mat keeps moving on this piece of carpet. I usually have 2 yoga mats because the floor is hard, but one of them is in my mom's car, which is not with me now. So I'm going down, and I have my towel. Not too bad, right? Not too bad. A little challenging on the balance for us. So when you lay your neck on the towel, you want your face at the edge. And let me show you. So while you're setting up, let me show you what we're going to be doing. We're going to be laying on our shoulder with the pillow here, right with my face up to the edge. And then I'm going to put my hand on my head, leaving the bottom arm out, palm up. My knees toward the front edge of the long side of the mat. Sorry about the noise. And then this top elbow will roll like I'm turning my head with my hand, moving back, and then returning forward. So let me show you again. My hand is at my forehead and my head. I breathe in, I turn my head, which turns my torso, and then I roll back. Now I'm going to position myself in a different way. We'll do this several times, but it may be that you want to open your arm, but wait for doing that. So here's another view for you. Here I am on my mat this way, putting the hand on my forehead, opening, and maybe my arm goes back. And then maybe my hand comes to my head. So now that you've seen it, feel free to get into the position. Make sure your knees are out and your feet are out at the same line as your knees. So just keep following your breath. Inhale is to open, hand on your head. Exhale is to close. The opening of the arm is an option. Those of us with shoulder issues may choose to not do that. Breathing in, we open, and breathing out, we close. Just keep it going. You may find that you're increasing your range of motion. Whatever tempo your breath is suggesting is the one that you should follow. Now this time, leave both arms out in front, the palms are together. So you're laying with your head on your pillow. Now you're going to use the top arm instead of on your head to pull up the bottom arm, kind of rubbing your hand against your arm, then against your chest where your heart is, and then think of this as opening your heart, and for those who release the arm, releasing whatever issues are obstacles to you. And then bending the hand back in, rubbing it across your chest and down the open arm. So the pattern is breathe in, open the heart, release, Breathe out. Come back and reset. It's as much a physical thing that you're doing to open as it is a mindful. So maybe you're going out to receive and bring it back in to nourish. Maybe there are things that aren't serving you any longer, so you're releasing them, you're letting them go. And let's finish with both arms out in front, and then we will come onto our backs so that the head is under, being supported on your neck. This is comfy, don't you think? So we'll stay here a little bit, and the hands are by your side. Lifting and lowering your heels a few times. We'll be doing the bridge pose with the hand being supported. So let's hold the heels down. Mula Bandha Uddiyana action. Squeeze, so I've pushed my tailbone down. It's like a cat pose from the pelvis. I roll up my vertebra, up onto my shoulders. So I'm not going to go as high because my head is elevated. That's okay. Then I want you to lift the heels up and see if you can pause here. If you tend to cramp, come down and give yourself a stretch. Some people can cramp, so I rolled up my spine and then I lifted my heels. Lower the heels, and if it seems appropriate for your back, extend one leg outward, not upward, but just adjacent to the bent knee. Bring that foot down, try the other leg. Bring that foot down. Now come down from your upper back, through the middle back, push down the belly button, and eventually release through the tailbone. So you're gonna let the hands come to your thighs. You can use one hand or two as they slide up to try and touch the tops of your knees and then come back down. Now, if this is a stress to your neck, take one hand behind and let just one hand slide up. And as we'll do about, 10 or 16, you can do 5 on one side, 5 on the other, or 8 and 8. So on your own, slide up. Release down, slide up, and release down, slide up, and release down, slide up. We are breathing out as we're sliding up, yes? Sliding up, and down. Couple more. And the last time. And pause. Now we'll revisit this on the other side, but let's lay on your, well, see, I was on my right side first, so I'm going to my left side, but you could be different. So you're gonna roll on your side. Whatever you have under your neck will still be there. Bring your knees up to the edge of the mat and your feet. So the heels are not back, they're out in front. Stack your knees. Release the bottom arm. Put the top arm upon your head. So it's inhale and your hand pulls the head. And then release the elbow forward. Breathing in and opening. Breathing out and closing. Do this just a few times, over and over. A few more times. Hear your own breath, listen for it. So now we're moving into that second pattern. Let your top arm reach out so the palms are together on the floor. The top arm travels up the inside of the bottom arm and across your heart, and you can leave it there if that's the best option. Slide it back, touching your body as the arm goes back. If you don't have a shoulder issue on this side, after the heart, you let the arm just reach out wherever that takes you. Now, what often happens is top knee pulls back. Keep your hips stacked so the arm may not touch the floor. So you're taking things from your heart and either sharing them as you give it away, or you're releasing things that may have been painful to your heart. So let's do this one more time. Put both components together, the mind and the body, serving the whole of you. Now this time as we move onto our back with our knees bent, I'm going to slide my towel up and away. So now I'm on my head. Now I know some of you always like something under your head, so just make it smaller, hands down. So we're going to do very much like we just did. Tighten through Mula Bandha, the Uddiyana action. So my low back now pressed. I'm going to peel it up from the tailbone to the low back, pressing up through my mid back. And now because my head is lower, I'm okay with my neck here. My hands can be by my side, giving support. Now I lift to my big bridge. Some of you may want to snug the shoulders inward and maybe even put the hands together, press in the feet. You get more arching, but that might not be a good thing. So you do you, I'll do me. Now from wherever you are, consider lifting your heels. I wouldn't do it if it caused your hamstrings to cramp. Lower the heels. Consider extending one leg outward, not too high, not too low. Goldilocks, just right. Switching legs, if you decided to do one leg, which it's a choice. So this time when you put the feet down, come down from the upper back. So if your shoulders are in, move them out. Come down from the upper back through the middle back. Second the belly, get the lower back, release the tailbone. And this time bring your knees in. And then what will happen is we're going to let the knees help us. We're going to draw the knees in, but we're thinking more of lifting the tailbone up. So you want to lift your bum up so I could slide maybe a piece of paper under. So you can use your hands to pull the knees up. That's one way. Another way is to put your hands on the floor and let them by pushing there. And if you've cultivated enough attention to the lower end of your rectus abdominis, you can put your hands behind your head and just lift that tailbone without any help from your hands. So doing the variation that just seems the best for you. It is very slow. So there's that pause when you're squeezing in. Think of Mula Bandha, Uddiyana action, and a strong exhalation. I say twice more. And once more, try and lift your tailbone. Now one foot is down and one foot is over the thigh of that foot that's down, so it's either one that you want. And then you're going to lift up the leg. So we know this as our figure four or as our pretzel pose. Some people like to hold behind the lower leg. And keeping the knee open is real appropriate. And you can play a little bit with rocking from side to side and just see if that gives you a little bit more into your hips, maybe into your low back, and certainly to your glutes. Switching out my legs so that top leg comes down so I can put the other ankle above the knee. Look at my knee went out here. Now yours may not go that far, but in other words, I'm not just leaving it passive, I'm actively opening it. Then I bring up the other foot. Again, you can hold behind that leg. Notice I have some action in my feet. My toes are not just droopy. If you want the pillow under your head, you like that feeling, you can put it back under. I'm rolling a little bit side to side. Stay invested in your breath. So bottom leg will go down. I'm going to hold on to this top leg and try and straighten it. So that means straight, not bent, but really straight. For some of you, holding at the hamstring, maybe even lifting up your head so that that's an easier grip. If you can, straighten the bottom leg out. That's not necessary. If you struggle with this, use the help of the bottom leg. If you can hold at your calf, your ankle, or your toes. Now, the more we try and bring the leg to us, the more the hips want to come up. So I ask you to keep a natural curve in your low back. Further is not better if it's not true to your hamstring. Now you're going to hold the leg. Let's go, if you were at the toes, go down the leg a little bit. And you're going to open it to the side. I have a wall here, so I have to be a little careful. So I'm holding in my hand, same leg. Now the other leg might want to come up, so I'm using my hand to say anchor down. And then I want to feel the inside of my thigh of the leg that's opened. Go ahead and bend in that knee, place the foot to the floor, and prepare. Same thing other side. So find out how the other leg, you may notice when the leg comes up, you kind of rock into the low back. So try and stay out toward the tailbone. See what happens, my leg goes out. So that's where I'd rather you be, so you can really affect the hamstring, rather than going, oh look, I can go further. Yeah. Now this is easier with the leg up, but if you want to place it down and out, that's fine. You may find a discrepancy between one leg and the other. It's not a surprise. So I'm going to hold the leg leg a little further down. It could be at my hamstring or my calf or ankle. And I'll let the leg go out to the side. Maybe even use my elbow as a little support structure. Other hand holds my hip down so I don't roll. And I'm opening into my adductors, my inner thigh muscles. So keep working till you feel that. Keep moving your leg up, up, up. Bend in your knee, place the foot down, stretch both legs out, both arms over. Do let your low back put a little curve there. Stretch and reach. As I bring the arms up and bend the knees, I'm back to my bridge pose. The arms will come down and my hips will go up. My hips will come down and my arms will go up and over. Repeat the pattern. Bottoms up when the hands are down. Hands up when the bottom is down. See if you can play a little game with timing of this. So leave the arms down, bring your hips down, let your thumbs cross and your first finger touch. Can you see my thumbs are like grabbing each other and I'm touching my fingers? Straight elbows, arms go overhead, and then I want you to pretend there's a wall right up from your belly button, not at your legs. And when the arms come up, I want you to push your hands at that wall. It's invisible, but I'm trying to push forward, but I can't. So I'm pushing while locking my thumbs. So hips are down when the arms are over, hips are up, and I push at that wall. Mula bandha, mula bandha, mula bandha. So I'm going to change the grip on my thumbs. So if you had the right thumb over the left thumb, see if you could switch them. Might feel weird. Pattern continues. I almost feel my arms shaking a little bit as they're trying to push through that imaginary wall. Mula bandha, mula bandha. This will be my last one. Hands release, float, hips lower, knees fall. Bring yourself to a seated position. Take all the time you need. Boy, you're messing up my hair here today. Okay. So here's where you can take your 2 towels and put them under your knees. Yeah, so you can use those a little bit later. So we're going to lean from side to side. If you're not going to sit cross-legged, you could be up on your knees. You can sit on a pillow. We'll use this in a little bit. So I'm going to lean over, reaching and letting it circle around in front on one side. And I'll go over and do the same thing on the other side. So thinking of ourselves as multi-planal. We have different parts of our body, the front, the back, the sides, the high, the low. Okay, now I'm going to actually twist. So instead of reaching over, I'm going to reach back and come up. Then I'm going to drop and reach back and come back up. So my hand going a little further back as I reach back. Now if I were sitting this way, I could do the same thing. Now I'm gonna do a quieting forward fold. Now I have these blankets, I have these towels here. I could sit on those to make it easier, or I could sit on one, whatever. I'm gonna put the feet in Bandha Konasana. So if I didn't do that, I would here, get very tall, lean forward and round down. But if I wanted a little assistance, I would lift up on the towels, get very tall, and then round down. So find the best setup for you. Is it best to be elevated and then you have more to go? Or is it a little better to sit on the ground, get up nice and tall, and just lean forward? So forward fold, quieting pose, as opposed to the opening. Rolling ourselves up. So if you want to put socks on and get a little warm before we lay down, we're going to do one more for the hands. So once you got your slippers or your socks on, if you're using them, you're going to have your elbows in with your hands spread. Maybe it'll help if I get a little closer. So here's where I'm going with this. So I'm just going to curl one in. This has gotten harder for me with joint issues. And then once I have the hands closed down as far as I can, I'll lock it in with my thumb. Unpeeling the same way, so the thumb opens. Begin at your pinky fingers, unfold them. Ring finger, middle finger, and first finger. Now let's go from the pinky finger first. So close it as hard, then the ring, and the tall man, and the pointer. Then make a fist, lock it in. Now we'll open with the pointer. This seems easier to me than doing from pinky. Nice. And we'll do a few rotations through our wrist. And then going the other way. And we're going to take the hands and rub them together. We're going to do a little self-massage, depending on the range of motion in your shoulders and how you can either access, my hands are really chilly, whether you can access the back of your neck. So you could do one hand, you can do both hands at the same time. I'll turn my back to you so you can see where my hands are going. So I'm going to take the hands to my upper traps, and then I'm just going to pull down on them. It's almost like I'm wiping. Then I'm going to move it out toward my shoulders. So you may not have the range to get quite into your spine where you can just pull the skin away down toward your shoulders or your shirt. Now I'll have one hand at a time go down, one hand. I'm moving slow because you see I'm pulling, I'm pushing into my skin. Then I'm going to leave both hands, one on one side, cross one on the other, and just let my fingers do this. Give a squeeze and release, and then let the arms go back behind you. So if I were sitting down here, it would be the same thing. I did all of this, then I let my arms go behind me. Okay, let's move towards Shavasana. So if I had these towels here, they would be under my knees. And this makes it a little easier for anybody with back issues to lay comfortably in the corpse pose. Palms can be up, palms can be down. If you need a blanket or something over you, your robe, you go ahead and place that over you. If you have an eye pillow or if you want to embrace the sunshine of the day, whatever is working for you. So this is your time to do nothing. So now we step away from our focus on moving the body and we take this pranayama breath into our body. So as you're laying there, you can either use me as a guide or just tune me out and go to your own special place. So let's go back and think about our head, which we just gave a little bit of attention to. And feel the weight of the head heavy on the earth. And feel the energy through those upper traps just relax, almost a melting sensation. Most of us hold a bit of tension from life there, so we've warmed them up, now we can just let them melt. Let the energy from the shoulders move down your arms, the front, the back of the arms. A whirlpool motion around the elbows travels the energy out your forearms, through your wrist. And now let it all go through your fingers as you breathe. Let it go, let it go. Consider the strength and length of your torso and how it's laying on the earth, even if you're laying on your side or your stomach. And let all the energy from the torso melt and drip into the earth, catching it and supporting you. The hips have their own energy source, so if you think of a whirlpool motion circulating around your hips, picking up and collecting tension and energy and then moving it down your thighs. Visualize that dancer pose and how you move that energy down to your knees, move around the knees. Carry any tension or energy out your calves, your shins, your ankles, and let it go through your toes. Let it go. So now you're left with a very heavy and perhaps peaceful body. Maybe stay connected and monitor the breath or the beating of the heart. Sure, thoughts will bubble up, but the practice of Shavasana is to let those thoughts move past and not to dwell. For me, that's quite challenging. So as I wait for the singing bowl, I invite you to let this time be yours. Come to notice your breath. Let it feel like the tide. Becoming longer and deeper. Pausing as it moves into the shore. And now you wiggle your fingers and you wiggle your toes. And you begin to move the tongue around in your mouth. And maybe the eyes slowly begin to blink. And feel free to roll to your side or stay just as you are, because that could be nice. So here's some thoughts for us today about courage. A Mr. Eddie Rickenbacker is quoted as saying, "Courage is doing what you're afraid to do, and there can be no courage unless you're scared." Some of us seem to never fear failure, but do. We just hide our fear really well. Others of us acknowledge our fear, even when doing so may be rather embarrassing. We may be afraid of falling flat on our faces, but we stand up straight and we do our best. And so thought for us today, it's okay for me to be afraid. I could admit this to myself and others and still tackle the things that frighten me. So we kind of address that in our yoga practice, being bold, I always say, facing the fears of falling over, stepping out, not doing it right. I can't tell you how many people go, "I'm not very good at yoga." And it's not about that. It's just about stepping out of that comfortable place. And that's how we learned. If we didn't ever get back up on our feet as toddlers, we'd still all be scooting around on our tush. So now that you're up to a seated position, relax those necks and shoulders, open the arms by your side, and we take a breath, filling ourselves with all of our bold, encouraging courage, join the palms together, and then hands into the heart. We share